Okay, so I'm Tasha Nathanson, and I've got a startup, circular economy, social enterprise, fish leather tannery, and leather goods company. And I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about the materials that go into that. So, though I was vegetarian for many years, I've come to really like fish and chips as well as sushi. Maybe you do too. This is the Pacific Northwest Gathering, and so we live in a temperate rainforest, and I'm going to guess that probably everybody here has some knowledge, perhaps even a bit of an appreciation for an industry that has brought this region jobs and has sustained many families and is now facing increasingly hard times. When I was a kid, the only chrome I knew about was on a car bumper, although now if I ask the gods of Google about it, it actually sends me to a search engine. I'm going to give you 6 words to frame this talk, and that's fish, forest, chrome, and then jobs, leather, and shoes. So what if I told you that a typical fish fillet constitutes only 30 to 45% of a fish, less than half? So what happens to the other 55 to 70%? For fish that's processed skin off, the skin is part of that lost potential. And I heard one of some of Rob's students are looking at that, and I'd love to talk with them about that. We probably also all know that at least a bit about the forest industry and how it favors wood over bark. But what's done with the bark after that wood has been processed? So permaculture and design thinking principles encourage us to observe the problems around us and then to intervene where there are leverage points for change. And this is one of those leverage points. So in the worst case, fish skin will end up in the landfill. For some extra value, sometimes it becomes farmed fish feed. There is a real irony about wild fish skin becoming food for farmed fish, but also other animal feed, sometimes fertilizer. But for higher value still, it can become leather. Now, before I continue, I want to deal with the first 2 questions that I face everywhere I go as a fish leather entrepreneur. Does it smell? And is it strong? So fish leather is incredibly strong. The crisscross structure of fish skin is actually stronger per thickness than mammal leather. The other thing is that sorry, I kind of got lost there. Anyway, so yes, it is very strong. And when I put a piece of this fish skin into someone's hands, and this is what I do, like I never leave the house without a piece of fish leather in my pocket or in my purse, so that when people ask me what I do, I don't tell them, I just put it in my hands. But they usually kind of gasp and they put it to their nose and they go, but this smells like leather. And that's because it's leather. So when you tan leather, the tanning process burns away all the stuff that could rot, which is also all the stuff that would smell. So yes, it's strong, and no, it doesn't smell. So the next leverage point is on the forestry side. And this is also a leather story. There are many ways that you can turn skin into leather. You can use smoke, oil, brains, I'm not making this up, urine, minerals, plant tannins, or chrome. So currently about 80 to 90% of the world leather produced globally is chrome tanned. And this is because it is the quickest, the cheapest, and the easiest way that you can make leather. But chrome tanning is also a noxious, toxic mixture of chemicals and salts. It pollutes the environment. It causes a range of diseases that go from irritation of the mouth, the airways, and the eyes, to skin reactions, digestive problems, kidney damage, liver damage, cancer, and reproductive problems. It is a super nasty business. And this is the reason that chrome tanning, or leather tanning at all, since most of it's chrome tanning now, is almost not done in North America anymore. So it's shifted to countries with lower environmental standards and health standards on the mass production end. So this would be China, Bangladesh, India, countries like that. or to a select set of European facilities that invest in high-tech, expensive recapture technologies for really high-end leather. But it doesn't end there, because we buy those chrome tanned leather goods and we import them back into North America, and the chrome never goes away. So with every chrome tanned good that we buy, we're bringing back this insidious damage into our landfills and trying to close our mind to what we're doing to the countries where it's produced. However, long before there was chrome tanning has been around for about 100, 150 years. Before this quick and dirty method of leather production was discovered, people made leather using plant tannins. So this is called veg tanning, which sounds like you do it with a piece of broccoli, but that's not the case. So plants produce natural tannins to defend themselves from bacterial and fungal attack. And those same tannins will burn away the rotty bits in a piece of skin, and they will chemically bond with the skin structure so that it like bulks it up and makes it thicker and gives it more substance. And the resulting leather is pretty cool because it's like half animal and half plant. It's some of each. And instead of poisoning you, like the chrome tanned leather, it actually helps protect you as well from bacteria and fungus, because that's what it does for the plant. But the thing is, it's a slower process, and so it's a more expensive process. But here's the kicker. Especially in our region, most of those tannins are found in the bark of trees. In the bark. So I have been specifically admonished by my partners not to talk about bark waste. It apparently is not waste because it can be burned as a byproduct. But I can tell you that it's a very useful byproduct. And we can make it into tannin, into tannin extract, and create leather with it, which gives it a much higher value than burning it. So when I started to experiment with creating veg tanned leather, I discovered fish leather, and I started trying to figure out how to make it. The only professional tannin extracts that I could buy came from other places. And importing tree products into Cascadia is like importing sand into the Sahara. It's just like an insane proposition. So 7 Leagues Leather, the startup that I've got, we're now working to find local solutions to this and looking at the not the byproducts, the byproduct stream rather than the waste stream. Anyway, we're currently working with Forest Product Innovations, which is a national industry government organization in Canada, to redevelop a tannin production industry that used to exist before leather production changed and leather producing then left North America. So this diversifies the forest industry, it attends to circular economy, and it brings manufacturing and jobs back to our region. So there are 2 more elements to the story that I'm telling. And one of them is workers and one of them is consumers. Workers need protection and support as we transition to a new economy. I have kind of a thing about environmentalists who have this concept of all these amazing high-tech jobs. Everything's going to be an app, and they're just not bringing everyone along with them. And that results in a lot of pushback from those who are losing the jobs, rather understandably. And also, you know, a circular economy includes its people. So for that reason, so 7 Leagues is designed as a social enterprise. So we want to scale up the company to the point where we can train and employ in our tannery urban workers who are facing barriers to employment. This is a model which, if we can get it to work and get it to be successful, is replicable and scalable for other cities, Seattle, Portland, different places. And so that's looking at the workers. And then the last element are the consumers. And that brings us back to the shoes. So consumer engagement is absolutely vital for the issue of waste. And fashion makes an impact on both attitudes and the environment. Shoes are a very elegant way to intervene in this process. They're unisex, both men and women wear them. They're not covered when you go out by your coat, or, you know, it's not like a wallet that you put in your pocket. So it's a really good way to get that conversation out there into the community. It also makes a point about the strength of the material. So the boot of choice in the Pacific Northwest is often a Blundstone. So this is, and
you're right at time. So take maybe 2 more minutes.
Okay, I'm almost done here.
Okay, cool.
I'm at the clinch.
Great.
A Blundstone is an Australian designed chrome tanned leather boot, which is made in China, Vietnam, India, or Mexico. There is nothing Cascadian about it. There's nothing environmentally sound about it. So we'd like to change that, and we'd like to use those shoes to also change your mind about leather. So instead, we propose a shoe made of fish skin that has been slowly transformed into leather using a tea-like brew of water and bark. From seed to tree, we're seeking to create a truly local product crafted from waste in the food fishery, transformed by byproduct in the forest sector, by workers who need jobs here. And we're demonstrating that you can create a useful product